You not heard of the OBG? Big people talk, man. You need to get involved. You might even catch a blessing.
So as Isabella said, this is the beauty of talking open and honestly, Isabella. We learn or get to learn that everybody goes through the same thing, you know, and a lot of them are based on our fears, our actions and the way we act with people, the way we react to people, they're based on our fears, and that's about solitude, that's about being alone. When we're alone and we think that the thing that we're doing is bad or it's unique to us. And the paradox about this is simply that if you do something good, then you think that you're the only one who does it. Oh, brilliant, I'm being successful, I'm great, I'm wonderful, you know, I'm good at this. No, sorry, let me get that round the other way. Let me put this the other way. If you're doing something good, you don't feel good enough about yourself because you think, oh, well, everyone else does this anyway. You know, it's like not such a big thing. But when you do something bad, then you think that you're the only one. And then you feel like you're rubbish and you think no one else does it and you feel that you're alone. And it's from really basic things. Like, I just talk about these things, not to be gross, but like, you know, I say something like, you know, like you pick your nose and, you know, this is going to be gross, switch off if you don't want to hear this. I'm giving you 5 seconds. You roll a wet one, you have to dry it, it's so wet. And you think you're the only person on the planet who does such a gross action. And everyone does it. Tough example, I know, but I'm the OBG, and this is where you come to hear the truth. Okay, back to normal, back to the good stuff. Being misunderstood. We're all going to be misunderstood. Isabella just said being misunderstood, and we're all going to be misunderstood. We're all looking to be understood way too much than we really should. We're going to be misunderstood simply because we have a very limited vocabulary, most of us, and even those who opine that they have a command of the language, it's how they form those words and put them together. Because sometimes you hear someone talk and you think this guy's got really good education in the language that he was born into, his mother's tongue, but he talks bollocks. And not only that, he's not smart enough to temper it down a little bit to communicate with me, who doesn't have his level of language. He just walks around proud about his level of language, and he tries to talk and talk and talk and talk, and he thinks he's explaining himself well, or he's elucidating a particular story, but he's not. He may as well just talk gibberish to the people who don't have exactly the same education as him or the same level. And they're not a better person for having a higher level of command of the language. All it means is you went to school for an extra 2 years. You suffered another 2 years of miseducation while I was out there living. And now you're out here living 4 years later. I know much more about the world, and you know much more about using the words of your language. And to me, I like the people who know the world. Right, on that note, I think I smashed it tonight. I think Isabel smashed it tonight. Thanks for propping me up tonight, Isabel. If there's anything you want to talk about in particular, any questions you want to ask about what I've talked about, anybody who's still there, go ahead. We'll get that out of the way, and then I'll say goodbye. So yeah, there's frustration, Isabel. It can be frustrating, but only if you make it so. Frustration isn't something that's out there and comes and grabs you. Frustration is something inside of us that we can and we must control, because it leads to stress, it leads to anxiety. So if you don't want to control it, as I said, you don't have to, because I said so, not you. One doesn't have to control it if one doesn't want to. But we all know frustration isn't a nice feeling. It's a learning curve. Put yourself in frustrating positions sometimes so you can get used to it. You can get out by the reins and learn how to deal with it when it does happen. But often it's because we want more than we should want. If a particular situation is frustrating to you, walk away from it. If you can't walk away from it, just pause for a minute and think of coming at it from a different angle. Not only about you being the aggressor, and I don't mean about violence, but about you going in to deal with an issue, but also with someone else bringing it to you. Just step to the side a little and think of coming in at a different angle. And often we're the fault. I've been frustrated with people, I've been annoyed at people sometimes, and I'm like, no, wait a minute, hold on. And I'm like, no, stop, breathe, come in again. And what I find is, rather than me trying to get my point across and tell them what I know, let me ask them a question, because then I'll understand what they're talking about. Then I listen, and it's like, oh, That's what you're trying to say. I just wasn't listening, and that's my new angle of approach. And the same for them. If they did the same, if you both just paused for a minute, okay, you go first. And then you see that the voice is lower, and they say what they have to say, and you go, okay, I've listened now, and then you say what you have to say, and we resolve many issues this way. If it's something else, like something in your life, not just a one-on-one, because those are the most obvious ones, you know, like you can't get your phone case on, you're struggling, your tongue comes out and stuff, and so on. It's like, put it down, think about the problem, and I do this in computer programming. What is the problem? Don't even touch it until you understand what the problem is, and then start thinking of solutions for it. Try the first method, doesn't work. Try the second method, doesn't work. Try the third, both. And then you understand there's a lot of pressure on the case when you pull it off on one side. So what you're going to do is pull it off on the corner, you know, and you find an answer quite quickly. So walk away, regroup, think about how you're going to handle any problems, and the frustration really, really lessens.
OBG.